Robin and everyone introduce yourself. Debbie, you can kick it off. You're one of my regulars.
Hey, yeah, I'm Debbie Kovitz. I live in Lawrenceville, Georgia, north of Atlanta. We started with an Airbnb close to our house and had to shut that down, but are reopening one with the same landlord. It's an arbitrage. She loves us, and she bought a house and wanted us to rent it from her. So we'll get that up and going next week, but we're at a cabin right now in Blue Ridge, trying to get this up and going. Had several issues to overcome, but hopefully it's going to go well.
Hey, good morning. This is Deborah Edwards. I live in Durham, North Carolina. Don't currently have a short-term rental, have a couple long-term rentals, but I just purchased a home that I'm closing on this Friday that will need a pretty significant renovation, about $30,000, but I hope to turn it into a short-term rental for either traveling healthcare professionals or people coming to visit the local hospital because it's within a mile of the hospital and they have a cancer unit and stuff. So that's my goal.
Awesome, Deborah. Congratulations. That's new news to me.
It is new news. It is new news. It's exciting.
Oh my gosh. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure. So I bought it. It's in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And that's where I have my other two long-term rental homes. It's a, small house. It's about 1,000 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom. We will have to pretty much totally redo all the siding, all the windows, the roof, and then interior just cosmetic, except the bathroom has to be totally gutted because of a leak. So it's a pretty substantial renovation, but that's exciting to me as well. It's a really cute little house built in 1959. So on a half acre of land. So I think, we can make it a nice place.
You said half an acre or 1.5?
1.5. Half acre.
That's awesome.
But a completely private backyard and I think it can be really a nice little respite for either traveling healthcare professionals or people there for maybe cancer treatment.
That's awesome. And that's actually one of my rules of thumb. I love to look for properties that are on an acre. Half an acre is great. Half an acre or larger if I'm looking in the suburb areas. So that is amazing. Yay, good for you.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations.
Hey, yeah, this is a DC Surface with, I actually live in Claremont, Georgia, which is north of Atlanta. And I'm all new to this, so looking to actually try to pick up Airbnb or VRBO property or something like that. We're looking up around the Lake Hartwell area right now. So anyway, hoping to make some offers pretty soon.
Nice. Where is that Lake Hartwell, you said?
Yeah, it's on the Georgia, South Carolina border. So some of it's in South Carolina, some of it's in Georgia, up on the northeast corner of Georgia.
Okay, nice.
So it's a pretty good sized lake up there, and so we're looking around up there. It's probably about an hour and 45 minutes from where I live, about an hour and a half, I guess. So it's not too bad as far as distance and stuff goes. And we're looking there because the prices there seem to be, if you were looking on Lake Lanier, it's almost cost prohibitive to get something there right now. The way the market is and everything. But so we were looking around Lake Hartwell, and then they got Lake Kiowee up there, which is in Seneca, and it's a little bit more expensive on that lake. But anyway, so I think it's a good spot for a luxury rental.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that because sometimes when you're looking at that main market, the primary market, it does get cost prohibitive really quickly, especially over the last, several months or so. But the key is to me, the key is looking at a secondary market. So just a few miles off, and you're still able to claim the fame of that main market. I get some of my best deals that way. My guest speaker is just having issues coming in. It's telling her that the host is not letting her in. And I'm the host. I don't know what's happening. I'm not getting an invitation to let her in. Any suggestions? I would really appreciate it, guys. If you have any. I feel like this keeps happening to me. But welcome, DC. Just really appreciate you being here. Right now, guys, we're just doing introductions as I try to get my guests in, and we're having a little bit of technical issues. She's getting a special message stating that that the host needs to let her in, and I'm the host. So just trying to figure that out. But in the interim, we're going around. Debbie, Deborah, and DC have introduced themselves. Terry, can you jump in and give a quick intro? And guys, by the way, Terry is one of our teachers at REI USA, so it's definitely an honor having him introduce with us.
Hello, good morning. I'm having some difficulties also. I can't hear you, Rachel. Am I the only one who can't? Oh, okay. Are we on video? Because I don't see any controls here for video.
It's in webinar mode.
Okay. All right. So that's cool.
So you can hear me slightly or not at all?
Oh, I can hear you real good. It's just the video. I'm trying to take myself off video because it's so early, but I'm not on video. That's great. But hey, good morning, everybody. Nice to meet you all. And Rachel, thanks for, being a great spokesperson in this area, something I've never even looked at. So I knew I was going to get on one of your webinars and see if I can learn more about it. I'm a rental property guy. I actually have 2 houses on one lot here in California that I own. And at one time I was trying to do assistant living with it. And that became too cumbersome with licensing and labor. And so I just turned it back into a rental. But now that I'm looking at this, it would be a great property. It's let's see, about 20,000 square feet. It's got a little 1-bedroom in the back, kitchen, nice sized, it's mother-in-law quarters is what we call them here. And then the front house is 3-bedroom, 1-bath. So I'm almost at the point where I need to remodel both, but now I got another option, which is great. So nice to meet everybody. Hopefully, I can bring something to the table. Hopefully I can learn from all of you guys. It's great to be in real estate, great place to be. So thank you kindly. And that's my story.
Awesome. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you being here as well.
No problem.
Hey, yeah, let's have a chat about that property. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I actually picked that up. It was a foreclosure, and
Wow.
I went actually to look at the property. There was no one there. And then I found out to go to another property, and I knocked on the door and I asked for John, and the lady said, John just passed away. And I said, well, God, sorry to hear that. And what are you going to do with the properties? She said, I'm going to give them back to the bank because John was the real estate guy. All I want to do is spend time with my grandkids. And so I asked her for them. She didn't ask for any money. And that was 1999. First month I rented out, I made $640 positive cash flow. And here we are, 2021. It's $2,100 a month. I own the properties free and clear and worth about $600,000. So that was a nice little deal there. I'm going to give that to my daughters so they can be little entrepreneurs. So
that's incredible. That is such an incredible story. And so definitely you as a teacher at REI USA, I will be attending your courses as well, because this is amazing.
Yes, definitely. And, the thing of it is, you just never know. There's so many different ways. I think, God, I forgot there was a number someone told me, 1,000 ways to make money in real estate. and only,
Wow.
one was paying cash. And I just constantly see so many different people being so successful at real estate. So we're all in a great business where everybody's in great business. And if you got some real estate, or if you don't have any real estate, get some. You got all these experts like Rachel here to help you. So get in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Changed the trajectory of my life for sure.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
So,
can
I'll
you
go
get
ahead, Terry. If you wouldn't mind just helping me round robin as I still navigate this technical difficulty, having everyone introduce themselves, that will be really, really helpful
Okay.
for me. I'm going to go off video real quick.
No problem. Anybody else want to introduce themselves to, the group if you haven't already? And feel free to, take your time. If there's anybody out there that just wants to talk about how maybe they got a deal that's unique. Hey, we're just trying to buy time. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy doing all the talking.
Hi, Terry. Awesome story. My name is Sabrina
Hey.
Battle. New in real estate. Just established my business plans and everything. Battlefield Investment Group, LLC. My thing is fix and flip, buy and hold. Been in a little of wholesaling back in 2016, 17. Not too great with it, but I think short-term rentals, I'm sorry. Short sales as well. I'm looking to get into that, and also buy and hold. That's what I'm interested in. But great to be here. Again, I'm in the middle Georgia area, about 75 south of Atlanta. So reach out to me if you'd like to connect. I'm on Instagram, Sabrina_Battle1. Follow me and I'll follow you back. Thanks.
Hey, Sabrina, could you give me an idea of what the market value is in your area? You ain't got to be exact, but I'm trying to look at all different markets and see where prices are at.
Different ranges. I mean, it just depends on the side of town that you're looking at. Of course, north side, south side. South side is very. You can get 45 to 50. I'll say probably $20,000 in property, but then you have your upper scale in South Macon and North Macon, but that ranges from I say 180 to $300,000 houses down here. So
Okay.
it varies.
So what are you trying to do short-term rentals? What is the highest priority for you as far as being an investor? What are you trying to do right now? If you had the choice in a crystal ball, where would you make money or add value? Fix and flip?
Yeah.
Okay.
And short sale. I really see, in short sale.
Great. And then the fix and flip, you got any price range that you'll work, or you got a certain number that your bread and butter number? What price range? Do you have one, or you're just open?
I'm just open.
Yeah.
If the numbers make sense and, enough where I can make a profit, or either, continue to buy and hold in that, wherever it's located at, so
exactly.
yeah. If it's in a bad area or whatnot, maybe wholesale and, maybe just buy and hold it. But definitely I would love to fix and flip.
Yeah. Are you seeing and here in California, everything is just shit. You're getting so much over value for property. Again, I don't mind because, I got rentals, so the value's going up, but are you still finding great deals? Even, I mean, everybody's gotta be, the market's going crazy for everybody.
Yeah, even in the Atlanta area. I mean, for short-term rental is the way to go, but I've been hearing a lot of changes are about to come for Airbnbs and things of that sort. So
Legislation, changing of legislation and,
yeah,
restricting. Yep, definitely. Well, that happens. I mean, like wholesalers, they're running into issues now, and they're always trying to regulate, which is good in certain instances, but it put restrictions. And I just believe we have to stay flexible, keep your eyes open for new opportunities and keep moving. But, definitely don't let legislation stop you from, what you love doing. Do you have your own crew? Also,
I'm lining it up. I am. I have a friend of mine. He just recently started. He did an excellent flip on a property here in Macon on the north side. So
Mhm.
he has a crew, and I will use him as my, contractor. I
Yeah,
am in the process of studying for my real estate license, but
cool.
yeah.
What
So
what kind of numbers did he do on that flip? Can you give
that,
me a check number?
let me see. He did it as a buy and hold,
Oh, buying her. Okay, no problem.
and I think he purchased it maybe for about, I want to say maybe about 50
Hmm.
or 56,000. It was a foreclosure, and I'm almost positive it's worth about 230 now.
Wow.
And he probably put maybe about 20 in it. Maybe not that much.
Hmm. You know how
Yeah.
much he's getting on rent?
Rent he's getting, I think it's $1,200, he told me.
Yeah. Wow. That's
So on that side of town, you can get 1,200 to maybe, yeah, $1,200 to $1,300 on that side of town. But for as, in the south side area, maybe about 750, 750
yeah.
to 830, 850 in rental.
I say that's about a 25% ROI. That's a nice return on that
Yeah.
property. So
Yeah.
plus it's got equity. So love it, love it.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Sabrina. Appreciate
Awesome.
it. Nice talking to you. Nice meeting you.
Same here, Terry.
All right. Anybody else?
Hi, so I'm sorry, sounds like I cut somebody off. I'm Vali, and so I am in actually Las Cruces, New Mexico. So I actually am focusing currently, I just got past the New Mexico broker's exam and should have my license hopefully by the end of the week. And but other than that, I've been focusing on short-term rentals here recently. I want to try and follow the arbitrage model. However, through that, as things happen, right, all of the activity that I'd been focusing on previously was related to wholesaling, looking for long-term, and also fix and flip. But through COVID, I kind of backed away from that. And then our market here is like most people's, it's very hot market. So that was partly why, I would come across people whose properties were nicer and would actually ask if I was a broker and could list their property. So I wasn't. So I was like, okay, I need to do that and have another solution, right? I
Nice,
wanted to be in
nice.
the solutions. So through that now, yeah. So what I was going to say is I had a woman who came in from Florida I'd been talking to for a while. We're going to finalize. She has a duplex. One side is Section 8, the other side is not. She's requesting a price increase. So once she finds out what they are going to agree to on that, then we'll finalize the sales price. And she wants to own or finance because she has two properties here, doesn't want to sell them both at the same time. So that, and she's done a great job of maintaining that property. So I'm really excited about that one, being able to lock that one up. Then we looked at her other property potentially as a Airbnb. It needs some work. She's really leaning towards going ahead and selling that one, and she wants me to list that one when she gets all that work done on that. So that's exciting that the timing is right, because I'll be able to list it. And then I have another property, same thing. He originally looked at it to purchase. It had a tenant in it. Turned out, it's a beautiful property. So we also talked about different options, like did he want to maybe do it as a where I could be the long-term tenant and I would then in turn rent it, but he really has decided he wants to list it, so I'm going to list that one for him. So out of the gate, I'll have 2 listings from other former activity. And then also I just this week had pop up, there's a duplex in our downtown area that is it's in the really nicer area of downtown where there's been a lot of properties that have been updated and fixed up. This is a little 1950s all brick duplex. Looks really cute. I can't wait to get inside of the units. She's actually got both tenants are moving out pretty close to each other. So we're going to go look at that this week. And we're talking about doing a co-host agreement on that one. So anyway, a lot of things going on and happening, and it's all at once. It's kind of, it's one of those things where it's like you put in a lot of work on different things, and then all of a sudden everything just starts popping. So,
well, that's the
Like
way
a
it
harvest,
is.
right?
That is the way it is. And then you're like, whoa, now I'm overwhelmed, but I remember the days where there was hardly anything, so we'll make do. Wow, that's great. Congratulations on your
thanks.
license. And the good thing about what you're telling me is that you've got a lot of flexibility. You're not just one thing and so limited. And you provide plenty of options. Again, I don't know anything about short-term rentals, but you give them options that maybe they didn't think about it, especially me. And I've been in real estate 40 years, never thought about short-term rentals because just wasn't my forte, but I'm a type of person that loves to learn. So, well, I got to open up my possibilities.
Absolutely.
Could you give me some price ranges where you're at? Oh,
Yes.
you know
Mhm.
what? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Let's see what Rachel has to update.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yes. So Veronica's here, guys. I know everyone's been waiting for her, but Vali, oh my gosh, congratulations. That is amazing how much has come to your table over the last couple of months. Because I remember when we were first talking just a couple of months ago, you were looking for deals. So to have the deals flowing to you that way, I think is incredible. And I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I do know that Veronica has a hard stop at 10. She is in. So Veronica, if you can flash your mic to make sure that I can see that you are in, you can hear me, everything all set. Awesome. So I just got the flash of the mic. Guys, if it's okay with you all, I would love to introduce to you to Veronica Montalvo. We recently met and she is quickly becoming one of my favorite people, a dear friend of mine now. And we are very, very similar in that we are interested and we're all in the short-term rental world. She is a real estate broker out of Puerto Rico. So I don't want to spend too much time talking myself. We want to hear from you, Veronica. Feel free to jump in and turn on your video if you're able to. Just would love to hear from you. Would love to hear about the opportunities that are available in Puerto Rico for us, in the mainland, I guess you would call it, so that we can get started in investing in your home state. So thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Dr. Rachel, thank you so much. Buenos dias. I actually been trying to turn my camera on, but it says that the host has disabled it. So I'm wondering if there's something on your end that you can do to turn it on, or if we're not using cameras. I'm not sure because I actually can't see anybody except for you.
Yeah, it's on a webinar mode. Try it now.
Okay. There you go.
There you go. Awesome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Saludos desde Puerto Rico. Thank you so much for the invitation, Rachel. I'm super excited. You have also become very quickly one of my favorite people. And I'm so happy to have found this group. I hope I can participate more frequently after this.
Yeah, that would be great. We are looking for a Puerto Rico REI USA teacher. So let me hook you up with our owner, Stacy, for sure. We want to hear about deals. We want to jump in because we do know that there are opportunities that are very affordable in Puerto Rico as compared to what we're seeing here. Sometimes we're being priced out. So yeah, and we would love to hear about your take on it. I know there are some tax implications. We can get into that a little bit later, which would be favorable as well, but let me shut up and I'll let you take it.
No, this is great. And please, I welcome all questions. Like I said, I mean, I might be a little biased as I am Puerto Rican. I grew up coming to this island. I was born and raised in Connecticut, actually. And about, I guess just a little over 4 years ago, the universe kind of conspired to open doors for me here by way of education. Actually, is how I landed here. I was a senior vice president in a prior life, right? In a prior professional career. And then as life would have it, Hurricane Maria hit, and I actually had to start from scratch. I lost my clients as I did not have access to the internet. As anybody on the island, and we had pretty much a total infrastructure breakdown. So as life would have it, and destiny, I was in a new place with nothing but opportunity to make of it. So from disaster, I think one needs to become resourceful and resilient. And if there's anything Puerto Rico has taught me, and the Puerto Rican people and the spirit, is that we are both resourceful and resilient. So what happened was, I actually fell by happenstance. I was in the middle of Old San Juan with a lot of merchants that had no tourists, had no viability, no customers, no money, no lights, no water. And we were slowly but surely coming back into way, but without a lot of traffic in our streets. So it was a little bit of a ghost town, which is kind of scary for a lot of people. And many weren't digitized, so many weren't online. And so that's how it all started for me, where I started to help businesses and small real estate investors and people who had properties get online, start communicating, letting people know they were open for business, they were available and accessible. And that's kind of how it started for me. And then I gradually, I used my marketing and education background to kind of pivot into helping rebrand some boutique hotels here, and help them with reservation and so on and so forth. So that's how it started for me here. And then I have since subsequently arbitraged 2 boutique hotels and probably about 7 individual apartments at any given moment. So that being said, right now, like I said, I am a commercial, as you said, I am a licensed commercial real estate broker. So I do handle all transactions, residential and commercial, as well as, like I said, I do help with the marketing and arbitraging, both for myself, and I help other clients set up their Airbnbs so that they can also build generational wealth and have prosperous businesses. So through disaster, I like to say that not all storms, like the quote, and some of you has probably seen it, not all disasters or storms come to destroy, some actually come to clear a path. So that's how I ended up here, and I'm happy to answer any questions. But as far as the market, it is a tourist-driven market. It is an absolute wonderful place to have an Airbnb and a property that you can both utilize for your own benefit and also maximize profits and rent while you're not here. We're very, very tourist-driven. I have a very good finger on the pulse of what drives this island and what's coming. So that helps me to help my clients identify the best properties to get the most, benefit for their money, but also so that they can have a life of freedom, which is what I like to promote. I don't typically say, oh, I sell real estate. I facilitate dreams and lifestyles. I was a product of a very stressful business, and I became sick. So I am a cancer survivor, which actually prompted my desire to want to change my business and change the way I work and change my priorities. And so that's how I ended up in this business. And so I find that it's my personal calling and mission to help others to do the same, because you can't always heal in the space and the environment that made you sick to begin with. So I like to think I'm a conduit. Yeah, I like to think I'm a conduit to people's dreams. And I think that that's what we do. We don't just rent spaces for people to vacation. We really do provide spaces that people clear their heads, create dreams, escape some very stressful situations. And so I like to put a lot of that in the love when I design my spaces and when I help my clients to create their spaces. And I always start with the end in mind. And that's what kind of feeling do I want my customers, my guests to feel, right? And what is the outcome from the experience in the space? And I get calls all the time about people who are like, I changed my life in that space. That space changed my life. And I don't think that's a accident or coincidence. I really don't. I think that if we start with that end in mind when we create our spaces and we identify, our rentals as more than just profit makers, but dream makers, I don't want to sound cliche, but I really think that we can change the world. I really do with what we do with short-term rentals. So.
Oh, wow, Veronica, that is just, we're going to have to do a part two because there is a lot there to unpack. So many gems, so
Sorry.
good, so good. No, I absolutely love it. And you're absolutely right, because especially in this day and age, this might be their one precious vacation they get for the whole year or in 2 years. And you hit the nail on the head. So what I loved about you when we first met, you were explaining the island, like geographically, what areas are, like all the areas are great, but from a cost effective perspective, right? You explained like there's a district that is travelers for business, and then there's an area, I think it was more waterfront, travelers for vacations. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Can you kind of break that down for us again and give us an idea of the price points, the price of entry for those areas?
Absolutely. So, there's always that 15-20 minute radius around an airport, which obviously for our renters, it's convenient, and quick access is important, especially if they're only here for a short period of time. Secondary, I look at obviously the accessibility to water and beach, right? So, depending on people's budgets, obviously if to be in this area closest to the airport and the metropolitan area, which is San Juan, you're probably going to look at, from a rental perspective, anywhere from 800 to all the way up to 2,500 for a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom bath with beach access. So that really
$800 a month to $2,500 a month to rent it out if we're looking to arbitrage, is what you're saying? Or is that what the guest is paying?
No, that's what you would be paying, right? Yeah, please help me understand. I'm talking to owners here, right? And people who would potentially be running a business, a rental business.
Yes. So Veronica, okay. we have those who are buying, we have those who are arbitraging here as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I'm speaking to appropriately to the audience. But yes, that's rental, and that's in this area closest to the airport, which also has beach access. The closer to beach access and the higher amenities, and the more modern the remodel and so forth in terms of its standards of the apartment, the higher you're going to go, clearly. And depending on your target market, I always do. I encourage clients to look at, okay, who's your avatar, who's your target, who will you be servicing? Because that's the foundation, right? Because no matter how cute you make it and how much you pour marshals into it, I got news for you. If it doesn't have the right structure and the right, the fixtures aren't modern, we all know this. So I always start with the fundamental, like what is the standard that you're hoping to target client that you're trying to acquire, and then we build out from there, and then we talk about budget and so on and so forth. But that's from a rental perspective. From a buying perspective, I'll put my real estate hat on. Same area, you're looking at probably something like between 150 all the way up to, $1.5 million. It depends on how luxury you want to go. But we have condominiums in the Condado area that have sold for $1 million. And, they can go anywhere from, typically I would say the average for a beach access beachfront, you're looking at probably around 300, anywhere from 250 to 300 in this area.
And is that like a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom or
it could be one or two bedroom. And again, the main difference will be how updated it's been, right? And how turnkey you need it, right? If you aren't afraid to put a little work into it, I think that's you have a higher likelihood of maybe not getting beachfront, but you will have beach access where guests can walk to the beach, and then you can invest a little to fix it.
And as far as your HOA range, what would it range monthly or annual HOA? What is the range?
Okay, so typically we're looking at somewhere between 75 to 250 a month.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good to know. I'm going to shut up now, guys. Unmute your mics. I know you have questions. I want to ask 7,000 more questions. I am forcing myself to be quiet at this point because I know Veronica has a hard stop at 10, but I want you to take advantage. But I promise you, we're going to have her on again. We've just got to. So
I'll be back. I love what I'm hearing. What I was able to hear when I popped in. This is my jam. This is my business. I take a lot of pride in not just helping clients, but improving myself. So I mean, I heard some great stuff. I would love to come back more regularly. Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Any questions, guys, from the audience? Okay, I see. Did Debbie unmute? Okay. Here we go. Questions are coming in through the chat. Okay, so Veronica, is this a seasonal market at all?
Well, I mean, we have the advantage of it's a Caribbean island, so we have the advantage of pretty good weather year round. One of the things that I found really humorous when I first got here was, you know, I arrived probably around November, December, which is the peak. It is peak time for us. It's the holiday season, so it's really festive, and the weather is still it's beautiful. It's not humid. It's high 80s, and I remember speaking to locals, and they would, you know, I would say, "I'm going to the beach. You want to come?" And they're like, "It's winter. You know, we're not going to the beach." And I'm like, what? And I thought to myself, jackpot, because that's great for our guests, especially people who want to travel in the winter. It's perfect weather, and it's actually peak here, and it's not super busy with a lot of locals. So it actually works out. So peak here is between November and March is when typically, you know, we're the busiest. We have quite a few festivals in this area, so people take advantage of that and come. The time that I tend to slow down, sometimes I travel personally, and we don't see as much as is around September, October, which is our high peak for potential storm season, you know. And so even though we start receiving storm warnings now, like in June, July, we really don't. We see some rain, but nothing really excessive. And then generally speaking, it kind of picks up September, October. So that's kind of like where we start seeing things slow down between August and October. Yeah, like end of October. And then by Halloween and later, it's peak again. So I hope that answers your question.
Nice, nice. This is amazing. Almost a year-round market, I think, is jackpot indeed. Next question, what property size or type generates the greatest ROI? What have you seen is going to generate the greatest ROI?
All right, so that's a great question. I mean, I've actually arbitraged both luxury homes as well as smaller studios, and I actually have generated more profit on the studio, and because the studio had beach access. So it was smaller, but I really maximized the space by putting a double bed as well as a futon. And so I marketed it, you know, obviously as, you know, a small family or a couple, and it worked out great because, like I said, it was beach access, and it was really great in terms of it had bookings all the time.
So the beach access is going to be that amenity that makes the difference. That's the driver.
Huge, because remember now we're alleviating the stress of having to rent a car, which right now the rental market is also very, very high. It's expensive, and there's lots of demand, not so much supply. So you know, if we can make it really easy, so you're close to the airport, and on top of that, you don't need a vehicle, and you can walk to the local market and walk to the, you know, beach, and, you know, that's great. And so for me, the when you talk about residences and you talk about overhead, right, when it comes to maintaining a house, and it's typically not beachfront just because of the costs and the insurance, you know, all these things. You know, per night, you might get to, you know, you might really obviously get a higher rate, but in the end, my most profitable properties are actually the smaller units. And they're the most economical and the easier to get into. So it's a win-win.
Awesome. And we've seen that in a lot of the urban cities, you know, great views, walkability, you know, that those are definitely key. Are there any differences to be aware of for purchasing properties on the island of Puerto Rico versus on the mainland? What are the big differences?
Probably construction and viability in a storm. that's probably the things I look for the most is, you know, how are the properties constructed? How will they do in peak rainy seasons and in high storm? Flooding areas, I tend to stay away from. So it really helps to have guys boots on the ground, even if you're not, you know, and this is, you know, again, obviously I welcome the business and collaboration with you, because I'm pretty authentic about what my calling is, and that is to build generational wealth. And the more I impact others, I know the better I do. So, but even if you don't use me, make sure it's someone that you trust. Make sure it's someone that is actually on the island, who's a local, knows it, understands it. I was a first responder after Hurricane Maria, so I saw a lot of these properties hit hard, and I know what they're made of, and I know what they can withstand. And so for me, safety is primary. Just with COVID, we care about sanitation. We also care about structure. And what we saw obviously in Surfside in Miami, you know, it's a heartbreaker. And, you know, I just, like I said, it's not worth it to me. The quick money, it's not worth it to me. I want to know my guests are safe. And that includes structure. It includes the security of the community, and accessibility to support should anything go down.
Wow. Yeah, simpatico for sure, for sure. So, and before I jump into your question, DC, so what about language barrier, Veronica? My Spanish is so rusty. How would I navigate a transaction if there's a language barrier? Is that prohibitive? How does one navigate it?
I got to tell you guys, look, you know, and I try to preface it by saying, I know it may seem biased because obviously I'm here, but remember, I'm from the States. So, most of my friends don't speak Spanish. And so I can tell you by first account, they come here and they fall in love with this place because it's so easy to assimilate and to communicate with the locals, and everyone speaks English for the most part here. We also have quite a bit of foreign and American relocated folks. So the English is very prominent here. Spanish, I will say, it's a benefit from a cultural perspective. I think that anytime you relocate or travel, I would say just traveling, I try the language. I try to speak it. I think it's a good human touch point, if you will. Just, again, it means a lot to the locals to hear people try, especially when you talk about federal tax incentives here. It's a sensitive subject because people were very welcoming, and I know the communities love the infusion of economic development that comes from the States and from foreign investors. But wow, isn't it amazing to not only meet someone who not only is economically giving back, but also emotionally and socially giving back, is coming to the island with respect and knowing that, it's a community in an island that's been through a lot. And so it means a lot for people to try the language, just as it is to try the food and try the locals. So not just come here and make it seem like you're here because there's federal tax incentives, which are amazing. I mean, they're amazing. And that's a whole other meeting, guys, in and of itself, that I'm happy to conduct for you guys. I mean, if you already have a profitable business, I mean, getting established in Puerto Rico gives you a tremendous tax break. It's 4%. And then in some cases, depending on your decree and the act that you're associated with, it means zero interest on capital gain. So it's not insignificant. And I am a capitalist. I mean, I do want people to keep the money that they work really hard to earn, but it's really special when you know that you're also infusing it in urban development and economic development into an island that's still, by all accounts, recovering, even though we are very much open for business. I mean, you just know it, you feel it in the streets, you just know people are things are better, and we've recovered, from Maria, pretty significantly, especially in the San Juan area. I mean, there's still pockets of the island, especially the further out on the west and harder to reach areas that they still need the construction attention and struggle with some of the infrastructure. But when it comes to the main area, the metropolitan area, San Juan, I mean, it's honestly, people, I remember standing in the thick of it, guys, and thinking, wow, this place has been destroyed. The trees, rainforest looked like a nuclear bomb had hit. If you can imagine trees, white, stark white, no vegetation, and it literally looked like there was a fire had run through. And when people said, oh gosh, it's going to take 10, 15, 20 years to come back from that, I can tell you honestly, we had no reason to not believe that, in a way, because at the core, as people were like, yeah, no, we're coming back hard. And we knew what we needed to do to help each other out, and what we needed to do to rebuild our communities. And we were able to collapse time, between our spirit and the help of so many diaspora, and obviously government support. We like I said, I believe in a lot of counts, going back to the storm not being not necessarily just being here to destroy, but also to clear a path. I think Maria really lifted a lid on a beautiful tropical island that needed some severe attention when it came to infrastructure. And so I think through that disaster, and also through the quarantine period, we have up-leveled in a way that is really beneficial to investors and people who are interested in relocating and buying property here.
Wow, and that's awesome. Was someone off of mute trying to speak? I think I heard something. Okay, I'll just continue through our questions here. Let's see. Okay, so DC has a great question. I'm going to preface this. Neither Veronica or I, unless you are, but I'm thinking neither Veronica or I are attorneys. So, nor are we accountants. So, but based on what you have seen, Veronica, how are they financing these properties? Are they held in an LLC? What have you seen? And this is not going to be legal or financial advice, but we just want to know what you've seen, because that's a great question. I would love to bring some experts in to talk about this in the future.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I don't think we have to be a lawyer to necessarily recommend it. I think everyone's circumstances, of course, from an accounting perspective is different. So I always encourage, spot on, Rachel. I always encourage people to, look for a CPA, which I'm very close affiliated to, quite a few that I trust, and legal advice, to really look at your circumstances personally. Everybody's circumstances is different. Everybody's financial status is different. Everybody's company's in a different place. But I mean, I can tell you for me, absolutely, I'd say, why not put each property individually registered on its own, just to protect yourself and your other properties. And that's actually what's cool, is that we do have a, tax decree, a federal tax decree that actually involves real estate. So, you could actually register your business as a Act 20, I think it's 73 is what the real estate one is, but between Act 20, 22, Act 60 and Act 73, I mean, you've got yourself covered, whether it's consulting or you've got a product or service that you want to promote. So yeah, absolutely. I would consult one of those attorneys first. Once you decide, I think that this is a good location for me to consider. And then you decide, okay, do I register a business, or is it just fiscally a good decision to invest, because it's a great time to get in. It's low barrier. It's the same funding. I'm going to kind of knock out a few things. So like I said, unfortunately, I do have another visual meeting that I have to join at 10, but I would say, you definitely have access to the same funds, that you would. So if you do need funding, from a traditional bank, I always encourage people to use the banks here, though, just because, again, that they know all the federal regulation. They're doing all the processes, all the procedures that they do in the States, but they have one leg up because they know Puerto Rico legislation and they know Puerto Rico incentives. So it's just, you cover all your bases by using one of the banks that is already here, right? So that's something that I can help you with in terms of, again, educating you on the different banks and mortgage lenders that you can contact. The one thing we don't do as much as it's not big on hard money lenders. We don't really have some prevalent hard money lenders here that I'm personally aware of and that I recommend. But the other very interesting aspect about this economy here is that it's also very creative finance friendly. So you will find owners on occasion that will do owner financing. So I know that for people that are arbitraging or are getting into this market and need kind of like a low barrier, that's another option that I know is utilized quite a bit here. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, you actually knocked out two questions, and I'll let Debbie speak up if there's more to it than that. So Debbie's question was about would we need to get a lender from Puerto Rico? It sounds like you don't have to, but local lenders, I mean, the bonus with local lenders is that a lot of times they they do know that regulatory stuff for the area, which is
Right.
great as well. And then they could kind of make things happen. Whereas a lender that is out of state in another location, they may not, understand the property, they may not understand the area, and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So I do know you have a hard stop in a few minutes. How can people find you? Where can people find you?
Well, you can contact me. You can DM me through any of the social media platforms, Veronica.Montalvo. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Clubhouse. Also, my direct number. You're welcome to call 787-354-8850. We can schedule a time to speak. You can text me. Just let me know this is how we met. Mention Dr. Rachel. Anything that will help me kind of, make sure I place you with the right meeting. And, we can just talk, get to know each other. I can talk to you about, more about the island, answer any specific questions you might have. Again, there's more to the island than just San Juan. I work the entire 100 by 35. And if I don't personally, I have, really great friends and connections that do. My family is from the West. So, I can honestly tell you, if you come to Puerto Rico, coming to San Juan is not enough. You want to see the entire island. It's, the whole 100 by 35 is spectacular. It's a different feel. It's kind of like I tell people, it's like if we get to Honolulu, go to Waikiki, you want to get to Oahu, right? You want to get to the North Shore. Well, for us, the West is our North Shore. So, basically, you go to Rincon, that's a surf capital. If you really want to step on Caribbean water, guess what? You got to go down south. You got to go down south to our island to actually touch Caribbean water.
Can we come? Can you take us? Because I want to be there now. That sounds amazing. But real quick, give me the number real quick.
What's that?
787-354.
Okay, 787-354-8850.
8850. And I'm going to put it in here. And everyone, add your email to this chat real quick. I'm going to share your email with Veronica, just in case she has a deal she wants to share out with the group, or, put us on your list, Veronica. If there's
I actually am. Thank you so much for saying that, Rachel. I think, I'm not sure if we've already talked about it, but I am in the process of automating that. I have been given a lot of requests, and I'm realizing that I'm actually answering a lot of the same questions, and I'm providing a lot of the same information. So I am going to automate things. So be patient with me, but if you can email me or just DM me your email or text me your email with your full name information, I will add you to my CRM and make sure that you are, prominently notified of anything that I'm doing, meetings, if I'm conducting a presentation, if I'm going to be on an interview like such as this, anything that you have access to, so I can educate and provide as much information to help you better assess and understand if Puerto Rico is a viable place for you. My email address, I can give you that as well. It's vm.realtor, REALTORPR @gmail.com. And again, I'm rebranding, I'm building, out a lot of different things here just to, again, make sure I get organized and I'm covered in terms of my business. So if I have your information, I'll make sure I'll share my updated website with you. I also do trip designing and private events. So under my brand Amavi. So I do have a webpage, amavi.lux, LUXE. So again, whether you want to travel and visit, which I really do recommend before you invest anywhere, travel, visit, meet the locals, spend some time here and really see if this is a place that you want to be here. On top of the fact, again, you want to make sure that your property is in the best possible location so that you can, build your real estate empire and generate the most you can out of your investment.
Awesome. Spell Amavi for me. Amavi, A-M-A?
A-M-A-V-I.
Amavi.lux.
Amavi. And so, I definitely, I do my consulting under my Amavi group, but also, like I said, I'm rebranding. So I took down all my pages that everybody gets, all of the information you need.
Always rebranding, that's me. So I totally get it. But what's important to me and what I think you've offered this group and the biggest gift is the education. So thank you for educating us. I feel like I have a small sliver of what's going on there, and I'm just excited. I can't wait to see what the future holds. It's super exciting.
It's a great time to be in Puerto Rico. It's wonderful tax incentives, but amazing people, culture, food. You know, I always say, you know, Puerto Rico doesn't envy any country. We have beaches, we have mountains, we have the nation's only rainforest. And so in addition to obviously building passive income, you know, there's projects that you can work on sustainability and you know, protecting our natural resources and building community, working with orphanages. There's just so much to do to feed your soul here that I always tell people, I said, think bigger, you know, think beyond just the profit that comes from owning a property. Think about the impact. As I started this conversation, what we're doing for people. We're offering them a safe sanctuary to leave sometimes very difficult situations, you know. I had a guest, I'll tell you this story really quick. I had a guest who was in a very abusive relationship, and really just needed a space to get away from that and clear their head in a place where they wouldn't be bothered by this person, by their spouse, and where they could make some decisions about what was in their future. You know, I grew up, you know, I know thing about domestic violence. I know how scary it is to be in an environment where you rely on someone financially and now emotionally and physically you're in pair, you know, danger. So think beyond, you know, profit. Think about what our guests really are vacationing from, what they're escaping from. And I promise you, you know, your business will not only change their lives, but it'll change yours in the process. And if I can be of any help at all, please don't hesitate. I love you, Dr. Rachel. I love this platform, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you guys more. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Thank you, Veronica. What a gift today was. Thank you for this gift of sharing this wonderful country with us. Look forward to engaging more. Thank you, everyone. I've got some emails. I'm going to go ahead and download and save our messages to chat, and I'll send out an email to everyone with Veronica's social media as well. So be looking out for that email if you guys are interested. Thank you guys and have a good one. Thanks, Veronica. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.